everyone. Welcome, welcome to today's Cultural Diplomacy Dialogue. Very excited that you're all here, recognizing that people are entering and will continue to enter for the next few minutes. We're going to start out with a little bit of some housekeeping, some etiquette. This is a recorded Zoom session. You will see that the video option is on for everyone. However, muting is not an option. We have set you all to mute and only the co-hosts are able to unmute you. As this is the first in the Cultural Dialogue series that we plan to put together, we're trialing a couple things. Forgive me as I work through some of this as your moderator. And this is a bit of a pilot. So we appreciate your flexibility there and want to make sure that we preserve the audio and video qualities for everyone involved. So today we have an incredible guest, Catia Manso. This is a wonderful opportunity for the next 30 minutes to hear from her some of her experiences, some wisdom from her travels and what she has done in her work, and to unpack a little bit more from her opportunity. About 4 weeks, I believe you spent here in the Raleigh area as one of the alumna of an international focus exchange program. So there are going to be opportunities to ask her some questions, but I will be leading this session overall with some questions that I've cooked up myself. If you have questions, you will see down in the chat that you are able to message myself, Sam, and others who are the hosts and co-hosts. Please direct your questions to Sam as he will be able to send them to us to then ask to Catia. She has also graciously agreed to answer any follow-up questions that the community might have. So thank you so much for doing that. And I'm sure there will be many great questions there. If you have any technical issues during our session, please again reach out to Samuel Josephson. And a huge thank you to Layla Beckery, Sam Josephson, Han Nyan, and Maria Adoxina, for all the work they've done over the past month and a half to kick off this dialogue and for putting us in contact with Catia as today's dialogue partner. So that's a lot up front. Now for a quick intro, brought to you today by International Focus, and International Focus builds global understanding and respect by facilitating face-to-face diplomacy, even if it's virtual, and professional, personal, and artistic exchanges. It promotes North Carolina to the world. It conserves the heritage of our international communities and defends values of freedom of expression. It has been serving as the cultural and artistic bridge between the Research Triangle and the international community for more than 30 years and runs global exchange programs that connect our community with emerging world leaders, with an average of over 200 visitors on an average of 25 programs a year. So heavily involved and bringing wonderful people to the Triangle like Catia. So as a quick intro for myself, my name is Jon Ordog. I've been a resident of Raleigh for the past 5 years, a proud son of New England, but I was convinced to move south out of the cold to the wonderful state of North Carolina. I did my undergraduate here in Elon University and decided to stay for doing a master's at NC State. Go Pack. I've bounced all over the career map. I was an English teacher overseas. I've worked in exchange programs for the better part of the past decade, and I split time between doing some consulting work and as a contractor for the State Department, supporting the International Visitor Leadership Program. So I am most enthused in life by meeting people like Catia. A quick intro for her, and then I will jump right into asking her some questions. Catia Pinheiro Manso is a Portuguese entrepreneur and business consultant based in Coimbra, Portugal. She holds a degree in business management and a master's in marketing and international business from Coimbra Business School. After early experiences in Switzerland and roles in consulting and media, she founded Krav Damat, a business and marketing agency. It's active in 3 European markets and has a focus on digital transformation and emerging technologies. In 2024, just this past fall, she was selected as a Young Transatlantic Innovative Leaders Initiative Fellow. That's a lot. By the US Department of State and spent 4 weeks in Raleigh, where she worked closely with the company Levitate, and we have Caroline here joining us from Levitate, to observe its innovation journey. During this time, she expanded her international network and established connections with several local institutions. She began collaborating with the Entrepreneurship Clinic at NC State, where she now serves as a mentor. She has participated in a public speaking session with Toastmasters and engaged in events organized by International Focus, strengthening her ties to the entrepreneurial and cultural community here in Raleigh. So, a lot of introductions, many things that we're going to talk about today. Thank you so much for being here, both to Cátia and to Caroline. I wanted to just start, before we get into the questions, Cátia, the floor is yours if you want to say a little hello and anything that I neglected to mention.
No, that's it. Thank you so much. And thank you for this invitation. I'm super excited for seeing everyone, Maria, Caroline, Samuel, Sandy. Oh my God. Thank you so much for being here. And I can see you. And I miss a lot of my time in Riley, but I cannot be a spoiler for John questions. This is my journey. I think you present myself better than me, so I guess it's a good one. So yeah, that's it. I think it's perfect. Let's see what you have for me today. What do you want to know about my time in Raleigh?
Well, the first thing I want to know, and it's going to be both to you and to Caroline, is can you just give us a brief overview of what is YTILI? Am I even saying that correctly? This is going to
Yeah.
be for both of you to jump in. So tell me a little bit about the program, what drew both of you to participating in it, and what do you find valuable about it? So Cátia, I'll start with you.
Well, for me, yeah, this is an enormous name, but it's a perfect program. For me, the YTILI, it was a flagship program. It's from the U.S. Department of State. It's aimed to empower young entrepreneurs and providing us with professional development opportunities, access to this transatlantic network, and made contacts and businesses with Europe and US. And of course, scale our skills, professional skills, develop more opportunities, and also develop our ventures, our businesses between US and Europe, in my case, Portugal, and of course bring some new ideas and new ventures to my own company in Portugal. This is about it was about the program. It was incredible for me. I was in the first place, I was like, I don't know if this is for me because my business is already in a, a, a very specific place right now. So I resent myself in the beginning. Maybe I should not leave my team here alone because they need me. It's a small business in Portugal. Portugal, it's a small country, so the business are not so big. But yeah, I took for my decision with my team, and it was an amazing time in US, and the program led me like doing amazing things for also for my company, but in the first place, all the network I did in the US, all the conversations I have with other entrepreneurs, other business owners, it was a really mind open for me. So the program is all about the business and the connections, but also it's about our education for businesses and that part. And my growth as an entrepreneur, it was amazing. The structure of the program, it's like 1 week we participate in Startup Week in Denver. 4 weeks we have this placement in different cities, all the 47 entrepreneurs from Europe at the same time in different US cities. For me, it was 4 weeks in Riley with other two entrepreneurs, Afanazi and Minella, in different areas. And also, it's supposed to have like cultural perspectives for doing good and sustainable business practices. So this is mostly the structure of the program. I guess Caroline can say in a better English, but yeah, for me, it was what they offered to me, and I say yes, and it was more than they offered to me. It was amazing.
Wonderful. Yeah, Caroline, I guess that's a perfect segue to you can you expand a little bit more on what the structure is from your side, how you got interested, these networks and cultural exchange elements that Cátia just mentioned?
Yeah, of course. It's always just nice to hear that Cátia had a good experience with us because it's something that we took seriously and wanted to make sure she got the most out of it because it's a very prestigious program that she was picked for. So, we wanted to rise to that occasion. But it was interesting. I had not heard of YTILI prior to Cátia, prior to like it kind of being presented to me. But it's interesting. So my company, Levitate, we're based in Raleigh, of course. It's our only office at present as well. So we're all super local. But we work out of a big co-working space, and International Focus works out of the same building that we do. So they're actually clients of ours as well. So we work really closely with them. We know them well. And they work down the hall from us. So we just had that relationship. And of course, them being tied to YTILI and knowing what we do. To the best I understand, they, I think, had learned about Cátia as a fellow that had been selected for the program, and her interests, which specifically, obviously, she's a marketing CEO. She is interested in AI, and we're an AI tool. We're a communications platform. I run our content marketing team, so I think the stars kind of aligned. It seemed like a really good match. So they reached out and they're like, "Hey, we have this fellow. We're interested in placing her with the company. Here's what she does. Here's what she's interested in." And we're like, "This checks all the boxes." For us, and my team specifically has really kind of spearheaded the adoption of AI for our company as well, and like really been the department within Levitate that's been the most kind of adoptive and experimental with it. So it really just seemed like a perfect fit. And so I saw her resume, and I got really excited. Interestingly, so Levitate right now, we only sell to, like, our clients are all based in the United States. We don't operate in any other markets outside of the US. So it's kind of the first layer for me, is realizing, wow, there's a chance to sit and learn for a month with someone that operates in a totally different market, has different perspectives on business. She's entrepreneurial, obviously, and that's one of our core values at Levitate as well, because we only work with small businesses, really, and sole providers, like really small. So people that naturally give off entrepreneurial spirit. So she obviously has that. So that was one layer. And then, of course, I'm a female in leadership here. She's a woman in leadership. And so I think we have that tie as well. And that's always a positive, to be able to sit with another woman that's in kind of a similar position, to learn from them and figure out, what are you doing that works? How have you gotten to where you are? So I was excited for that as well. And then the third one is the fact that we're both marketers and we're both interested in those trends and applying them in different ways, and to show her what my team has been doing and how we do it, and our methods and our best practices, for her to like sit and really go through those with us and share her opinions and feedback and allow us to be better. So it was kind of those like three layers for me of why I was really excited to bring her on and have the opportunity. So really it was International Focus that got us connected, and we're grateful to them for that, because it was a very rewarding experience. And I'll go so far as to say my entire team is also female. That's just kind of how it has panned out. And so Cátia got to come onto a department of 7 women in tech. And I think that was just a unique experience for us and for her, because she's obviously a very successful female as well. So just good for everyone to have that influence. And the team loved her. So it was just overall like very positive and high energy. So we loved it.
Well, I can tell that you're very much all high energy. This is amazing. And I bet that immediately sparks started flying with the connection. So I'm curious, in spite of all of this that you have in common, just the natural synergies of the work that you do, the positions that you're in, were there any initial cultural either hurdles, roadblocks, or funny instances of cross-cultural communication that maybe like, oh, that was something I didn't expect to have to chat through today, or like, wow, that just threw me for a loop. For Cátia, I mean, for you coming from Portugal, from Coimbra here to Raleigh, anything along those lines?
I can start, Caroline.
Yeah, please.
The fried chicken in the morning.
Oh, I know.
This is crazy.
Oh man, I know. Yeah, the fact that we eat for breakfast really threw her off.
So fried chicken and waffles, right? Is that what I'm
Yeah.
hearing?
Sausage, bacon. I mean, it's, yeah. She was like,
A whole heart attack just in the morning.
yeah.
Well, I already mentioned a lot of times my experience in the US. It was marked by the difference in the food.
Mm-hmm.
When people say to me, "What do you feel like the big difference culturally?" I didn't, because people in North Carolina, it's very kind, more kind than Portugal, and we are known by being kind. But in North Carolina, people are more really really kind, more kind of compared with Portugal. Um, but the food is really really the shock. The cultural shock is in the food, like just a bit of strawberries but a lot of fried things in the morning. For me, coming from Portugal, we have a lot of fruits, we have a lot of sun, so normally the breakfast, it's about it's about fruits or cereals, something very light. And in the first days, Caroline and the company, they has this ritual to support the all the employees, and I think it's amazing because the employees really like it. It's about giving them breakfast. Okay, people, it's Monday and you need to eat. Don't think about nothing, just relax. It's amazing. Levitate, it's a wonderful company, I have to say. And take really care about their employees. And then I was like, oh cool, breakfast. And I started to see, and it's bacon and fried chicken. And I was, Caroline, this is for lunch. And she's, oh no, we'll eat that for breakfast. It was crazy. That's what I think it was the shock. I have more shocks related to the food, and I think we can talk about it after in this interview. But the fry things, it was my thing in North Carolina, really. In the conversation, sometimes my English is it's not really not good, and I think it's worse now. And today I have a rush day. I talk too much in Portuguese, so my English today it's horrible. But sometimes I try to express myself to Caroline, and she was super kind, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I was trying to use more words, but sometimes some funny things that I tried to put Portuguese words in an English version, and Caroline helped me to understand also what I meant. It was amazing, yeah. But I don't think I had this cultural shock because I'm pop culture, US culture nerd. So I guess that helped me uh, a little. But I don't know, Caroline, did I say something really really stupid cultural?
No, and just so for the record, Cátia always tries to say that her English is bad, and it's actually not at all. It's great. I never felt a language barrier. I think potentially like business language or maybe like some very specific terms we might have had differences just in like meanings, but overall, I never sensed any sort of like difficulty communicating. We kind of clicked from the jump. I think one thing I was curious, I don't think concerns were, but curious about bringing Cátia on was just we're a startup and therefore move very fast. And you all know American culture, especially in business, like we are just going all the time. Our paces, even in the South, like I think, people associate the South with being slower paced, but in the business setting, it's still very fast and rapid and things are evolving. And I was curious like how Cátia would feel coming into that environment. Because I know, and I even had this kind of thought about like European being a little bit slower paced, like, but again, in the business environment, she just jumped right in and as a CEO herself, like acclimated. I mean, I don't even think she had to acclimate. I think she just hopped in and she was like 2 steps ahead of me, very inquisitive. And the thing I appreciated about her that I adjusted to quickly was her wanting to understand the reasons behind things. And that's a good thing. Like she wanted to be involved with something, but she wanted to know the purpose of it and how she could better understand it and know if it pertained to her. Could she bring this back to her own world or not? And that was like a very key theme throughout was the inquisitiveness, the curiosity, why do you guys do it this way? And it's good for me, an exercise for me to need to explain to someone new, like, why is this the way it is? And that made me even like reflect on on some things, and were they necessary? Were we doing things the right way? Because you're explaining this to someone without any context, and it really illuminates some of that. But yeah, no, communication was great, and energy. She's high energy. We are too. She fit right in. So that was the only thing I think I was curious about with someone coming in, but she was a perfect fit. So it was great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
I'm curious if you can share a story of, you mentioned, Cátia jumping in and being 2 steps ahead, if there are any particular instances of either a work day or an event or one of these instances where she was like in it, and a fun story from your time working together.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's plenty of that. A lot of it's super fun and funny, but I can think of a couple examples where, and this is something I wanted from her too, as her being on site with us. I remember, so our team creates a ton of content for small businesses, and we're writing a lot. We're doing emails and social and stuff. And, I'd given Cátia access to our platform to see all of these things. And I remember, I can't remember what time of day, but I think she had just spent some time looking at it and just on her own, independently, like going through. And I remember I got back to my desk and she's like, so I've been looking at some of the stuff you guys have been writing, and I wanted to like talk through it and like share some feedback. And it was just, she had just independently like gone through and known to, or wanted to like examine how our team was creating and our strategies and compare those with how our team does it, and kind of like have a conversation. And it was extremely productive, because again, she's like a master marketer and, on her side of the world too. And so I just loved that she was always just like proactively like, or another example is, based on like what she was hoping to get out of it or who she wanted to talk to, she would practically be like, I'm interested in meeting with this person, or like, this is something I'm curious about learning, could you help me set up a time to meet with this person? Or very proactive in that way of like, she knew she was on a mission. She was very hungry and eager to learn, and made it very easy for me to help facilitate that, because she's like, this is my goal. This is who I want to talk to. I'm like, all right, let's do it, So it's just always like thinking ahead, very strategic. And that, yeah, just made my job even easier. It's just to help facilitate that for her. So she's very sharp.
And you mind, because Caroline, it was amazing. Sometimes I thought maybe I crossed the line now. Every time I asked, can I learn more this and more that? And she was like, yeah, sure. I put you in contact with this guy. This is the guy. And I was like, okay, this is it. This was not the line I crossed now. Even the CEO of Levitate, I could speak with him like almost 1 hour. It was amazing, and Jess opened to me all my questions. Super cool and fun and open about it, and I ask very direct questions. So you can imagine a CEO of a big company like Levitate. Of course, they are growing, and have like a person coming from Portugal and ask the most different questions about your business. So I guess it was strange for Jess, but Caroline arranged everything for me, and I learned a lot with her. I learned a lot how Caroline arranged all the content for the team and how she managed all the team. I learned a lot with her because of course we have different experience of leadership, but I'm a very direct person, and Caroline, it's a sensitive leader. It's amazing how she works, and I learn a lot with her, a lot. And my team already love you. You need to be here to present yourself.
I love
because
it.
I'm more calm after US, after YTILI, I'm more calm with them. So I guess it's they love you already. Yeah, but all these things we are talking about, it's more than a business experience. I have a connection, a personal connection with these people. I need to say it. Normally, I'm not there that like here doing business in Europe. Also, we are more cold, more distant doing business in Europe, and you are saying like I don't know how she deal with the pace, and people think in Europe it's like better, but it's not. We are very slow, and I love the way business are made in America. It's like one conversation, we put everything together, everything is written, and go, go, go. I love that. I love that. I want to live in that country, because here in Europe we have a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations, a lot of how I say it, like um, behind conversations after we do business, or I mean before we do business. So it's very different in US, and I love my time there for business purpose, but this connection, these learnings were personal too, because I was not put it in the spot. I was learning there. So I could calm down myself and just observe. And that I have to say, thank you, Maria and Caroline. These two amazing women took me there, and Maria selected Levitate and for me, and I think it was a perfect match for what I need and for the restructure I need to do in my company. And I understand that now. It was perfect. I feel like I'm a more confident as a leader also because of this experience. But after all of this, when I knew that I was placement in North Carolina, Raleigh, I was, oh my God, I don't know what this is. I don't know. People are like in New Orleans, New York, Hawaii, and I was like, Raleigh, I never heard about it. What? Then I saw some videos in YouTube about downtown, and I was, okay, it's clean, but no one in the streets. What's wrong with this city? But then I love Riley. I love the green spaces, the pool and park, all these things I could visitate in my free time, and I really like. It's not so different from Coimbra. Of course, it's too big. It's really big. Coimbra, it's very small, but I guess the organization is very similar to Coimbra, and I felt in home. But it's a very romantic place, I guess. I felt in the parks and all of this in the farmers market. I felt like these movies, you know, like this Sunday afternoon movies from Nicholas Spark and Nora Roberts novels. You know, I always felt like that, always in Riley. And I'm not a romantic person, but I fell in love in the end. When I arrived in Washington, I tell Veronica, well, I think I didn't love Riley, but when I come back to Coimbra, for me it was like, no, Raleigh, it was the most important time I had in US. It was really, and I'm super glad I didn't pass my experience, my learning experience in a place super different of my own, because that gave me the experience and the peace I need to concentrate in my learnings and education. That was education. So yeah, that was amazing. Sorry, John, I talk, you need to stop me.
No, that's what we're here for. We love hearing your perspective, your opinions, and you know that little plug for Raleigh. I'll give you your $5 later. Yeah, no, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. There is one question that I want to make sure I relay from the group, and it touches on something that you and Caroline mentioned. As strong entrepreneurial women working in this space, this is a question from Sega Medine. What are challenges facing women in your professional field, and which ones seem to be universal across your cultures? Have you noticed different approaches to addressing them? So open to both of you on that front.
Cátia, you can start if you want. I think we definitely had a lot of discussions about this while she was with us. So
I think it's hard in every part of the role. I'm so sorry for all the women here, but yeah, that is the truth. It's the same. I guess in the West, it's better. For my personal experience, West is better, but it's hard. It's a man role. and it's sometimes it's very different because women don't go some places, or when network exists, or something like that, we can lose businesses just for that, just for be a woman. But
For not being
I
in
don't
the
think,
room or in the spaces where these conversations or
yes,
networking events happen. Okay.
yes, yes. In Finland, it's about the sauna, right? I don't know if you know, but in Finland, a lot of people go. It's a women and men sauna, and they do business in the sauna naked, all naked. But in the few years, if you are not from Finland, this is not normal for you. For me, it was not. In Portugal, we are very, very close about it. So for me, it's always different from a cultural perspective. In US, it was the first place I never felt difference because I was a woman or not. I didn't felt that, but I'm a foreign, so I guess that place has also a different treatment at the beginning of the conversations. But also in Portugal, we have difficult access to some network events, or of course, public 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 speaking. Everything is open. You can access everything. It appears it's easy. It's the same for women and men. But when you enter, like the condescendent of the conversation is different if you are not a man. Assuming that you are super young for this type of job in a consulting business is super hard normally, when most of the companies in Portugal are run from men plus than 65. So can you imagine how this age shock could be? As a woman, I am 35 years old, and they doesn't care about my professional professional background. They just look at me, and they just care when I start talking. Before that, I'm always like the little kid, the little young woman that probably has something to say. So we need to be very strong and has a strong position when we present ourselves in businesses, because the space is too small for us. So we need to be sure that it's ours.
Yeah.
Caroline, sorry, want to let you continue to respond as well. Just wanted to let everyone know we are a little bit over time, and we are going to
Yeah.
continue the conversation because I'm enjoying this so much. I want to make sure that all perspectives are shared. So Caroline, please.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and this is something that, again, I mentioned, Cátia and I talked a lot about because it is an existing issue still, and there's always work to be done. I do think, being in the United States, I think we've made progress. I do think women have good opportunities here, but there's nuance to that. There's layers to it. One thing that jumps out to me when I think about like my career up to this point, before I was in tech, I was actually in engineering, which was also a heavily male-driven field. So I've seen how this operates in different industries now. And again, only in Raleigh though. So I think there's localization as a layer. I think industry, of course, I think company, and that's what I'll harp on in a second, but industry as well, where obviously tech is still largely male driven. And there's been plenty of times at Levitate where I'm the only woman in the room or in a meeting. I can't get too in your head about that. I think what I've seen a lot of women have to do or feel like they have to do in the industries that at least I've worked in, and that's really all I can speak to. I can't speak to industries outside of those, but is feeling like you have to almost work twice as hard to have the same credibility, or that like, I have this opinion and I've got it in this, like I've earned this opinion, or I've earned the right to have this opinion in this room, all the same as my male peers. And so I've definitely felt that, but I think what I feel a difference of is I think it's how leadership also views the women in the organization. I think a lot of it's the top down kind of thing as well. And that's where I think having leaders that embrace women are so important. And that's where I will also just speak highly of my own boss, my CEO at Levitate, named Jess. Half of our senior leadership team here is women. And I think Cátia being brought on here, like, I don't think that's the norm. I think that's an amazing exception, I think, to a lot of what you see in other tech companies, especially ones bigger than us. That's probably very irregular. So I'm in a very privileged perspective, probably in that way, of where I have a CEO. I have senior leaders that want women in the room, and they want to hear those perspectives. 50% women in leadership. And so Cátia was brought into that scenario where I'm like, man, this might just be a really good like exception, maybe, where she was in an organization that has embraced women and allows us to rise up and be in those roles, and hires a lot of women, and makes that part of the recruiting practice as well. That's where the organization comes in. Like, are they aware of, you know, the diversity within? Are they taking steps to afford women the same opportunity? So I think that's where it's just so nuanced. So that's kind of just my perspective, but the having to not think too much about whether you're the only woman in a room or not, if you are allowed to have this like heavily stanced opinion on something, and we don't question why you have that, and your instincts are strong. And so yeah, I think that's what she and I talked about, and how she wants more of that like woman entrepreneurial spirit to be brought into business practices in Europe and Portugal specifically, where, as she was mentioning, some women just don't maybe have the same opportunity, or don't feel like they can take up the space that they deserve to. So yeah, I think that's my soapbox, I guess. But it's interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Tsega, for the question. And thank you to Cátia and Caroline for your answers. Really do appreciate it. And you're in the room where it happens for a reason. So take heart and confidence in that for sure. We are probably going to start wrapping up. I use my moderator privilege now to ask a question to just like a minute, maybe, about from each of you. What are like one or two either takeaways or things that have stuck with you from the exchange, the 4 weeks together? It could be funny, it could be sentimental, it could be serious, it could be job related or personal, whatever. Just one thing that has really stuck with you to this day from your time together.
I want to say one of each, but I can't because I don't have time. So I go to the funny part. I will never forget to go into the state fair and I eat fryer hours. Never forget that episode. Never. But also I bring to me the confidence of and the effort of these Americans I known, because we have a lot of things for granted in Europe, and these people work a lot. All the Americans I knew from the business part for the ventures. I knew a group of Latin women that just found and support a business from other women, and all the people from Levitate, from the sales team, they work a lot. They are really, really deep in their jobs. And that it was like, you are a little girl, Cátia. Let's do the job. Let's do the job. And in the difficult days, and I have sons, I really think about all the people I knew in US, and I think that people is amazing. You are a you are a little one. Stop, just do things.
Yeah, you want me to hop in? Perfect. Yeah. Okay, I'll do one quick funny one, but then I do have kind of a reflection. But I was asking my team, like, what is one of the most like American things that we could take Cátia to do while she's here? And so we had a short list. Waffle House was definitely on there. But we ended up taking her to Costco for a hot dog, because I mean, name something more American than Costco. And you know, just like our deeply capitalistic society. That's okay though. We did take her to Costco. She's like, what is this place? We walk in, I'm like, there's stuff everywhere. There's like 100 people waiting for hot dogs at lunch. She's like, is this a thing? I'm like, very much a thing. This is a way of life. This is like, yeah, it's like all of us have memberships. So taking her to experience that, because as we were saying, I don't think she necessarily has something that like quite like that in Portugal, especially not with the food element, where we're like eating these slices of pizza this big, and we're like, these hot dogs are huge. So that was the funny part, that the whole team took her out for lunch, and it was a great time. We have a photo from that. But reflective, I think I'm going to kind of put the reverse card on her, where she was saying that she's very direct and that's how she operates, and that I tend to be a little more sensitive, and there is definitely benefits to both, but she is like, in the way that her directness, my takeaway from her was like, but you have to ask for what you want, and you have to do it in a way that's clear. And sometimes I like to soften things or, sugarcoat or whatever that is in the attempt to be like overly sensitive or, understanding. And sometimes what I want can get lost in translation, or my advocacy of other people can get lost in my desire to make everyone happy. And so just her way of like, I want to do this. This is what I want to accomplish. Here's who I want to talk to, or whatever that was. I'm like, wow, and she checked off these boxes. She like got what she wanted. And I was very empowered by that, because I tend to not necessarily take that approach. And so I've attempted to try that more in my own personal life, professional life, just being direct and clear, because clear is kind. So that is something that I definitely took away from the way that her personality and the way she operates. It's a very powerful thing. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you both for sharing the funny things. Costco hot dogs, fried Oreos, being clear is kind, and
super weird food.
Yep, keeping everybody with you that you've met as a reminder to help you through your difficult times. I don't know a better way to end it than that. So thank you, Cátia, for spending some time with us. Caroline, thank you for spending what I assume is your lunch hour with us as well. Go get a Costco hot dog after this, an executive lunch as we call it. And to everybody, thank you for your questions, for sharing your time with us, and for being here for this kickoff to the Cultural Diplomacy Dialogue here in 2025. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send them to us here at International Focus. If you are interested in learning more about International Focus, you can go to our website, internationalfocus.org, or reach out at contact@internationalfocus.org. And we really just appreciate you being a part of the community, supporting efforts like this one, so that we can continue to have individuals like Cátia share their experiences and wealth of knowledge with our community and vice versa. So thank you to everybody. Please enjoy the rest of your day. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll be in touch soon with the next installment of the Cultural Diplomacy Dialogue. Thank you all.